What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and today I'm talking about a movie that I honestly never thought I was going to see. I never thought this movie was going to see the light of day, and that is The New Mutants. And before I give you guys my thoughts on this movie, I want to let you know there will be no spoilers in this video. I'm actually going to save those for a spoiler review that should be out tomorrow or Saturday. 5 young mutants just discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility against their will fight to escape their past sins and save themselves. So it goes without saying that The New Mutants has had a ton of media coverage around it, as this movie was originally supposed to come out in April of 2018, and it got delayed various times. I remember I was actually a senior in high school when this movie was supposed to come out, and now I am in my junior year of college, so it's crazy how time flies. Josh Boone directed it, and I just was never really excited for it. The main reason, the main pull for me to want to see this movie was actually the fact that it kept getting delayed. I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to see this movie. Normally I might not see it, but it is an X-Men movie. It's got the Marvel property attached to it. I was let down, but I didn't have massive expectations, so it wasn't that big of a deal. New Mutants is an interesting movie, to say the least. There's some positives I have with the film, but a lot of it's not very positive, so just bear with me here, and I'll give you all my thoughts, give you the rundown. I can say that I did enjoy some of the visual sequences. Mainly, there's a few flashback sequences that I think are pretty cool, and they suit the story. Other than that, though, I'm not really a fan of a lot of what this movie had to offer. The script is atrocious. The dialogue is really bad. There was one line in the theater, I won't spoil it here, where I laughed out loud. I was like, is that really in this movie? And then there were just so many moments that were blatantly obvious to me. Very predictable. That's an issue I have with the movie, is the predictability. Like, come on. I mean, every superhero movie has a degree of predictability, even MCU movies. But with this, it was like, oh, let's show this little clip on a TV in the background, and you won't catch that at all, as if it's not foreshadowing events that are going to come up. Like, things like that, very irritating to me, because I just caught them so obviously. They marketed this movie as a horror movie, and it's not that for a long time. To even call this movie a horror movie is almost disgraceful to the horror genre, because the first 40 minutes are like a teen drama movie where everyone's confined in one space, and there's never really horrific elements, even when they claim it is a horror movie. When those horrific elements do appear, it's like, this isn't really horror. This is kind of creepy imagery, but that doesn't classify it as a horror movie. And that's like something that disappoints me, is I know the main draw with this movie is, aside from the fact that it's been delayed 30 times, is that it's a horror X-Men film with new mutants, and I don't really think that delivered on that at all. There's a few moments where there's some like gruesome imagery, but it's a PG-13 film, so there's not really that much room for them to go with it there. The acting isn't my favorite. I'm just telling you how I feel. I'm being honest with you guys. Charlie Heaton, who plays Jonathan Byers in Stranger Things, is doing like this Kentucky Southern accent that did not work for me at all. Felt like an SNL skit. Anya Taylor-Joy's character is so unlikable that it was hard for me to even like care for her as the movie went on, because she was just like so awful. Honestly, that's just how I felt about her. Maisie Williams does the best she can. She's probably the best when it comes to acting chops in this movie. I love her as Arya Stark. She will always be Arya in my heart. So she does the best she can. It's not her fault the script's bad. The main character in the movie, Danielle Moonstar, aka Danny as she goes by in the movie, played by Blue Hunt, is the weak link of the movie. And I don't like to sit here and pick on actors and actresses, because I'm not an actor. I could never do it. The delivery is just really off. It's very cringy a lot of the times, and I just kind of felt awkward watching it. Cringe and cheesiness abound in this movie. I will say it still is a Marvel X-Men film at the end of the day. I don't know if it's the worst of the bunch, but as a whole, the movie was lacking when it came to compelling action sequences, any scares that really drew up any tension or suspense in me, and there was no humor even. There were a lot of missed attempts at humor, in my opinion, which was sad to see, because there were like moments that they clearly wrote in where they were like, the audience is gonna laugh here, and it was just like crickets. Granted, there was only 2 other people in my theater, but no one even chuckled throughout this movie. I can't vibe with the final product. The performances were just kind of weak. The script was very off, and the visuals were lackluster, to say the least. There is a significant issue I have that I will dig into in the spoiler review that I'm just like, this is a horrible idea, and it seriously doesn't make any sense. I'll save that for the spoiler review, but it's just like, what are you doing? I personally cannot recommend you guys go see this movie and spend your money on it. If you're a diehard Marvel or X-Men fan, you want to see all the movies, then definitely go for it and form your own opinion on it. But for me, I just could not get on board with this movie. It was extremely generic and bland, and one of the more forgettable movies I've seen, not only this year, but when it comes to X-Men movies in general. On the traditional rating scale that I would do for movie reviews back in the day, I usually do that out of 10. So if I had to give this movie a rating out of 10, I'd probably have to go 3 out of 10. This movie is very forgettable. You can check out my Letterboxd for like my full in-depth written review with my Letterboxd rating there. I might transfer to the out of 5 stars, but a 3 out of 10, and that's like really low. But this movie's really bad. I'm sorry that this was more of like a cynical review. I hate to do that, but it's just the way I feel about the movie, and I did not have a pleasant experience, you guys, but definitely consider hitting the like button. Comment your thoughts on the New Mutants down below if you've seen it. Did you love it? Were you on the complete opposite end of me? Or are you in my boat, and did you think this movie was just super bland, boring, and honestly sad that it came out? Thank you guys for sticking around. I haven't reviewed new movies in a while. Stay tuned for future live streams, collabs, podcast episodes, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.